Hi, Inferno Squirrel again. This will be my second video, and I think it's fitting that I play Minecraft, as, most YouTubers do. Um, I've been playing this game forever. Came out on the Xbox 360. But what I really want to, start off with more properly, I guess, is saying that this video won't have much structure to it. I'll kind of just be talking. I have some things in mind that I do want to bring up. Nothing too crazy. Kind of just like, my perspectives on life. And if you notice right away, this isn't exactly vanilla. I have I forgot the name of it. It's a resource pack. But yeah, you can see that my hearts are purple. The menu is purple. My crosshair is a heart. But yeah, it's not, anything too noticeable or crazy, but yeah, I don't I don't really know where I was going with that. But anyways, I hope you are doing well, you know, as of whenever you're watching this, whether you're watching it again or for the first time, I really appreciate you clicking on the video at all. If you click off, I hope the rest of your day or night is alright. I would imagine, you'd be eating dinner maybe, or just eating some amount of food while you watch this. And that's really what I imagine, my audience would be like. Just background sounds at the very least. You get to hear the game, you get to hear me yap. But yeah, the no structure is really showing right now, I bet. But let's get into, some of the things I want to talk about. My personality type is INFJ. I've been kind of writing on that ever since I took the MBTI test. I think that's what it's called, MBTI, in middle school and again in high school, and I got the same results. So I would imagine that's pretty accurate to, my personality. What the I stands for is introverted, which I can really, relate to and accept as my reality. As, as I've come to learn, introverts aren't exactly, oh, I'm just, I'm really shy. I'd rather not talk to people because, I'm, just shy and nervous when it comes to that. But what I've found out is that, the real like hardcore introverts don't like talking to people at all. Like they'd really just prefer to be in their own lane, doing their own thing. And I've been finding that to be true about myself most of the time, like, oh, if there's an option for me to like, hang out with some friends, it's really up in the air most of the time whether or not I want to hang out with them. And, that comes with its trade-offs, of course, because, well, one, you're not hanging out with your friends when you could be, but on the other hand, you could just be, chilling, doing your own thing. And, it's not to say that, oh, I don't appreciate them. It's just that I don't have it in me sometimes to put in that kind of effort. And I don't know if that makes me, necessarily a bad person or not. And I don't really know where I'm going with this, but that's just the way I am. Um, Not to name drop, but there's this one YouTuber I've been watching a lot as of recently. Um, he's primarily a Clash Royale YouTuber. His name is Ken. Um, KFC Clash and whatnot. I think his videos have been a really big inspiration for me so far to like even start making these. And, as of recently this week, he uploaded a Minecraft video. Wow, that rabbit just died. Anyways, yeah, he uploaded a Minecraft video alongside his Subnautica and Clash Royale video. So, he did 3 uploads in one day, and he already does daily uploads. I think that's, pretty admirable, considering that, it's like he's been, well, yeah, I think it's admirable. Putting in that kind of commitment to something like YouTube is something that, you know, not everyone can do, and I'm clearly not at a point like that yet. You know, obviously I'm trying to rush out this video, I guess. Wow, I'm getting really sidetracked right now. I don't know how I got here. But yeah, Ken. I think he's a really interesting person. I don't relate to everything he says, but it does make sense in the aspects of, like, these are people's lives. You know, everyone's experience is different. And it just so happens to be that, you know, in his scenario, he's had a lot of experiences so far. You know, I'm not calling him old or anything or super wise, but I really do appreciate the kind of content he puts out because, you know, on one hand, it's like, ah, man, he's just, you know, like, big braining it in Clash Royale, doing, like, the biggest plays ever that I've seen. I'm not too big into the game. I mostly watch it for, you know, who he is. And it's really cool to, like, see videos such as, you know, the recent Minecraft one where it talks about his life and, you know, sort of just puts it in perspective, like, how things go sometimes. And, well, I guess relating it back to how he started off, you know, being an introvert. That's just how my life is sometimes. I've been like this for about the longest I can remember, which goes into really only first grade, because I went to pre-K, pre-kindergarten, and, you know, kindergarten, so I had at least those 2 years of school experience before, you know, going fully in. You know, I'm dead. That is sick. But yeah, you know, I had those experiences. My brain was very much not developed in the sense of, like, oh, you know, I need to make friends. And it's not to say, like, oh, you know, I'm socially awkward at that age. No, I was just not, you know, set on making friends immediately. I was kind of just doing my own thing. I was a goober back then, and I still kind of am now, but I'm more knowledgeable. But that doesn't... There's a village over there. But that's not to say, like, oh, you know, like, I have everything figured out. I do not. I may know things about myself, but a lot of the time I don't choose to do anything about it. And, you know, that's a big part of finding yourself, I'd say. Again, you know, I don't know where I'm going with all this. Try not to die. Just gotta... There goes some of my items, I bet. Skeleton needs to back off for a second. Okay. Sick. It broke everything. It's creepy. Don't die, don't die, don't die! Okay, I'm not dead. Close, but not dead. You know, mind your setbacks. But anyways, yeah. Introvertedness. The epitome of it to me is being content with, you know, being by yourself and preferring that, in a sense. It does make you less of a person. It just says that you value the time that you keep to yourself. And, you know, I'm one of those people. I really enjoy, you know, doing things on my own. Such as right now, you know, like, I had the option of, oh, do I want to, you know, record some other game with some of my friends or not? And I decided to do another solo video, mostly to, you know, test the waters, see how it's gonna be. And, you know, it's somewhat tough when you're by yourself. But yeah, I got really sidetracked. Again, I apologize. There's no structure to this. So I hope, you know, you're watching this just to have sound in the background while you're doing something. And I really do appreciate that if you're still watching. But anyways, getting back into the first bit that I started at, INFJ. So I talked about I really, as I say in a lot of my college classes, I really resonate with that. I really see how I'm an introvert. I love the time I have to myself, but I really do like having, you know, time spent with my friends. It's just, I don't always feel I can provide that presence for them. And I'll talk more about, you know, being introverted later on in this video, I hope. But yeah. Anyways, INFJ. The N stands for intuitive. I'm not speaking on this exactly like, you know, one-to-one. It's like, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't remember exactly what it said about it, but the way that I view it, is what I'll be talking about. So yeah. Here I go saying intuitive again, which is funny, because, you know, it's like intuitive. Ah, see? Funny. But yeah. I find myself to, you know, really try and relate to people. Or at least try and get their vibe. You know, how they're feeling, their emotions. It's not that, you know, I'm the best, like, person to go to. Or no, I'm not the greatest at it, I mean. And I don't think anyone is. Until I'm proven wrong, I don't even know what I'm saying. Sorry. But yeah, intuitive. I really, unironically, try and be an empath whenever I can. I try to think, oh, how did their day go? How would they feel being here where they are now? You know, what does their presence add? Which is obviously not nothing, because, you know, I see them. But that's just in the physical sense. I want to see people in that, is it metaphysical? That metaphysical sense of, like, you know, their being, how are they, what are they thinking? Yeah, that's a really bad analysis. But I hope you get what I mean. I'd say Google this, you know, either during or after you watch this, because I'm obviously not a, you know, professional at analyzing all this and explaining it. I'm just some dude playing Minecraft for you right now. And I just felt like sharing that because, you know, I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And speaking of that, I think I should Google that before myself too, because I do not know what the F stands for. So let me do that right now, actually. INFJ meaning. Ah. That is very interesting. Okay, so I think I'll just say it really quickly. So INFJ, introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. I think the intuitive and feeling are pretty closely linked together, but another aspect of intuitive is like your decision making in life. Like your gut feeling is what it's supposed to be. I usually go with that. You know, obviously situations take different forms in my experience, so it's not like apples to apples or whatever. But, you know, the way I view it is that I'm pretty empathetic. Like I said, I really want to, like, understand how people are feeling in the moments, or at least, like, in general. Say, like, you know, I'm talking to someone, and, you know, it's like, one day their emotions are like pretty high, you know. It's, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you? And then the next day it could be like, hey, what's up? Yeah, I don't know. Blah blah blah. It's things like that where, you know, I start thinking, uh-oh, did I do something wrong? Or did something go wrong with them? Wow, there are 2 iron golems here. And, you know, it's this kind of thing that I really value and appreciate in other people. Obviously, not everyone is an INFJ. I don't even know how accurate it is for me to say that I am too, because, you know, things change. But I'm fairly certain I answered those questions pretty, you know, honestly and accurately, and they still carried forward today. That's just the kind of person I believe I am at this point, and I don't see what else I could be. But I don't know. That's up for a psychologist to tell me in the end. And even then, I'm me. I'm my own person. I have my own thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Please don't hurt them. I'm just kidding. But yeah. Where else am I going with this? Again, I apologize so much. I think in the future I will try and have more structure in terms of like, oh, you know, these are key points I'll be talking about. These are the things I do want to say. So like, not exactly a script, but more of just like a path to take. And oh, there I go with being intuitive. You know, it's like saying whatever I feel is right. It's not to say, you know, it's like the best it could be. In the end, I'm just playing and saying whatever comes to mind right now, so there's that. Sorry. But yeah, going back into the rest of it, into INFJ, feeling. I am a very, very feeling person. Emotional, I mean, you know, same idea. But I say that because I can just be, you know, experiencing my day, going about things as normal, and then out of nowhere, it's like, I just start thinking of things from the past, and then it's like, wow, I feel like crying now. And it can also be over absolutely nothing. I don't know if that says something about, like, you know, if I have some kind of, I don't know what to call it. Just thing about me that makes me feel this way. I'm not always sad. I'm very thankful I'm not, you know, it's not depression or anything. But there's a lot of times where, you know, I'm feeling down. It's just a thing about life that, you know, come to experience more and more. And you know, like I said, geez, I really do not have my thoughts together. But what I mean by all this is that there's just, you know, times where I have better days and other times where I don't. I think everyone experiences that. Ooh, cherry blossom. But the real takeaway I want you to, you know, see from this is that mindset is really valuable. And I think I'm just copying Ken at this point. Like, you know, optimism. I'm not the most optimistic person, but I can, you know, tell myself that, yeah, things are good. I don't have really anything to be worried about. And whether it comes down to, like, you know, just being ignorant to all the issues in the world, I won't talk about anything specific, but, you know, it's things like that that I don't really, like, surround myself in all the time, because I think it's just bad for your mental health a lot of the time. And, you know, it's not to say, like, oh, I ignore everything. Like, if you try to talk to me about this, I will not listen at all. I mean this in the sense that, like, wow, I really don't know how to phrase it. I mean this in the sense that I focus on the present and a little bit into the future. I don't plan things out super meticulously. If I know there are things to get done, such as my homework, and I will get to it at some point. Call it procrastination. I call it procrastination. Yes, that is exactly what it is. But yeah, what this all means to me is, like, you know, I have plans that I set out for myself sometimes, and, you know, it takes me a while to follow through with them, but in the end it works out because, you know, when it really comes down to it, I can get things done. Wow, interesting grass spot. But yeah, jeez, I really don't know what I want to be saying. I appreciate you still sticking around if you're here. If this isn't double speed, I appreciate that. I appreciate that even more, because it makes all the more sense to do something like that. Even if I were to talk fast and get in that flow state of explaining something, you know, it's still a lot of commitment to, you know, dedicate that much time to listening to someone. So I don't blame you. I understand it completely. You know, here I go off into another thing. Just like I said, I'll be talking about anything. There's no real structure here. But yeah. Okay, cool. I was holding something up. Wow, my train of thought completely disappeared. So let me just talk about the last one, judging. I'm not the type of person to, like, you know, deduce someone down to, like, one sentence. Maybe you could. I don't know what I mean by this, but what I'm trying to say is that I want to see people for their whole person. You know, like, depending on the things they do in their life, obviously it'll change my perspective on them. But it's not to say that, like, one mistake makes them the worst person in the world. People make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes all the time. And no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're also not perfect. Ah, I'm being an asshole. But anyways, what I mean by all this is that when I say I'm judging, I'm not focused only on who you are in that moment. It's who I think you know, will be, I guess, if I were to stick around, you know? Like, oh, what is my sort of value to you in life? Which is an odd thing to say, but, you know, how do I fit into your life and how do I fit into yours? Obviously, not everyone will want to be my friend, and I totally get that. I don't want to be everyone's friend either. It's a kind of pressure that, you know, is held on people, like any kind of relationship. Platonic, familial, I forgot the other word, but, you know, like, if you love each other in that sense, like, you know, you're in that kind of relationship. But, you know, obviously there's love in every relationship, I hope. And, like, geez, if there isn't, find it. I don't know what I'm saying. I really do not. I'm so sorry. You know, for my second video, I would have imagined this would have gone better, but I think this is just kind of how I think. I go into long tangents, talk about things that seem to make sense, but, you know, overall maybe don't, and then, you know, jump onto something else when I realize that and, like, catch myself. So, anyways, I'm just gonna talk more about being introverted. There's a lot of times in my life, even now, you know, as a college student, where I may have friends, and, you know, I may have friends online too. I really do appreciate the time I spend with all of them. And there's that sense of just, like, you know, perpetual loneliness in me that I tend to always find. It's like, let's say that you're at an event with your friends, and, you know, you're saying hi to them, it seems great, and then just out of nowhere, it's like, oh, we don't really have much to talk about, and then, you know, they start talking to people they know, you're kind of left to your own devices. In other words, you might just be standing there, like I do a lot of the time. Sorry, I was burping. Not exactly sure why. Incredibly gassy, am I right? No. Anyways. Carrots here. Please be carrots. Carrots. That is good. I'll be needing that later. But yeah. I get worried sometimes. You know, like, who am I to this person? And sometimes I ask myself, not sometimes, a lot of the times, I'm always asking myself, I try and be self-aware in that sense, of like, you know, why am I here? What led me to this moment in my life? Um, Either having a lack of, you know, like presence of other people around me or not, what led me to doing this specific thing. Because, you know, people influence you, your surroundings influence you, uh, form your own thoughts and opinions on things. It leads you in places that, you know, you might have never seen yourself before. Such as leading yourself somewhere. That is a big cave. I'll be exploring that at some point, I hope. Yeah, more on this. I'm a pretty lonely person. But, you know, the key difference that you've maybe heard a lot before is like, there's a difference between being lonely and feeling lonely. Because a lot of the time I can be alone and be content with myself. You know, I'm doing my own thing. More about myself. I play Battle Cats on my phone a good amount, and there's kind of been a dry spell lately, in my opinion. Like, you know, I play the levels and whatnot. You're wondering, I do Uber carry. I feel no shame in that. Like, I have the unit. Why not use it? I think it's kind of a waste if I don't. But yeah, I really enjoy the time I have to myself. I'm definitely repeating myself, but I do want to make this clear. I am introverted to a very large degree. It has its ups and its downs, such as, you know, being fine being alone, but feeling alone is its own thing. Here's, you know, a little bit more about myself, I guess, personal experiences and whatnot. I've been single my whole life. And, you know, if you saw my first video, I'm 20 years old. Turning 21 this year, actually, so now you know the year I was born, 2005. And, you know, I think about that a lot. Not in the sense of like, oh man, I really need to get my shit together and like find a girlfriend. I'm slowly coming to terms more and more every day with the fact that it'll come around when it comes around. That, you know, time of my life. And however long it stays, I'm hoping forever at that point. Um, like that person, this girl, will come around. And I won't always, you know, feel so lonely. Obviously, wow, here I go talking about relationships. But what I mean to say is that, like, well, I don't even know what I mean to say. But what I amount this all to is that there are people in life that I will meet that will come and go, as I've already been experiencing. And, you know, the ones that stick around are the ones, you know, I consider closest to me. I have 3 friends that I have had since middle school that I still play games with. I haven't seen them, you know, like a lot in person and whatnot, but you know, we play games with each other. We still talk to each other. I really appreciate that. But backtracking to having a girlfriend and being in a relationship, I've never had that experience yet. I don't know what it's like to like directly express that you love someone in that way, you know? Like, you're not just friends. You're in it to spend, you know, the rest of your life with this person. Maybe, you know. Wait, wow. I'm phrasing this very strangely. I apologize. But what I want to say is that, you know, I haven't had that chapter of my life yet. I haven't experienced that sort of love. I've gotten close, you know. it's not to say like, oh man, I've just talked to no girls in my life. I definitely have, but it's never gotten to that point where things are completely established and, you know, we're seeing each other. It's the it's more proper phrasing. Uh, but yeah, you know, I'm not in a hurry. I shouldn't be. I just think that, you know, or no, not I think. I'm hoping that time comes soon. So ladies, put applications down in the comments. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Or do. The choice is yours. Um, but yeah. Speaking more about relationships and meeting people, I'm not gonna get, you know, like too personal or anything. It's just like there are times in my life where, you know, it's been a pretty confusing time. I feel I'm getting close with a girl, and then out of nowhere it's like bam, she's gone. Wants nothing more to do with me. And I feel like it's happened a lot too. It's just, you know, I just stop talking or whatever. I'm not, you know, I'm not salty about it in any way. I'm just, you know, a little sad about it. It's like, that connection I had with this person is, for the most part, you know, gone. All I have left is the memories. I really do appreciate those memories, though. I do not take them for granted. Because, you know, when I really do think about it, it's like, there's a lot in life that I've yet to experience and have already experienced. And, you know, this person was part of that. Another tangent, I suppose. I remember a lot of things, not super vividly, but I still remember events going on. Like, you know, talking about girls still, sorry. A lot of these memories, you know, linger with me. And even if they were all online for the most part, it's another thing about me. I haven't really, you know, had that kind of talking stage in person. It's always been over text or over Discord. A little embarrassed to be saying this out loud, but that's how my life has been so far. And, you know, there's that lingering sense of isolation from this kind of connection that, you know, I've been stuck with. Maybe not stuck with. That's a bad outlook. That I've, you know, had the perspective of taking in, you know? And it's not to say it's the worst, it's just there's that aspect that I would rather have. Which is ironic, you know, because I say I'm very introverted, but I really appreciate, you know, like in-person interactions because hearing your tone of voice, you know, the most clearly I can, seeing your face and expressions most clearly I can. That's the kind of human interactions that, you know, I wouldn't want to take for granted because, you know, assuming that they're being genuine on their end, you know, I see that human interaction is like the most genuine anyone can get. They're presenting themselves in a way where you can see, you know, how they're feeling, which, you know, ties into the beginning of what I talked about, I suppose. And there I go, my train of thought is gone. But yeah, I'm really sorry. I really need to structure out my next video. If this gets uploaded, you know, leave your criticisms in the comments, good or bad. If you hate me, you hate me. If you think it's okay, it's okay. If you think it's good, maybe rethink that, you know, especially if you know me. I'm not perfect. And I can only strive for perfection, especially when it comes to making videos like this. But you know, there's that other aspect of this. I'm sort of just talking to talk. So you have something to listen to in the sense of like, oh, I just want some background noise, and this guy is there for that. Mr. Inferno Squirrel. But speaking of Inferno Squirrel, I guess, I'll talk a bit more about that, so you don't have to ask it in the 35 subscriber Q&A video, haha, wink wink. But I came to choosing Inferno Squirrel for my username because, as most people do, it's combined two things you like into like one word, or something separated by an underscore, by numbers, by an X, if people still do that. I think that was more of an early 2000s thing, or like early 2010s, I mean. But yeah, I just thought to myself, okay, what's something cool that I can use in my username? Because before that, I had imagined I would, have squirrel in my username. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, oh yeah, squirrels are great. That stems from Alvin and the Chipmunks, which is funny because they're chipmunks and not squirrels. But I thought squirrels were more interesting, in a sense. Or maybe I was just, like low-key a stupid kid, and it's like, oh hey, yeah, they're just the same thing, squirrels and chipmunks, yeah. Because I love Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm not talking about the cartoon. Those are, it's obviously, fun too, fun to watch. It's mostly the live action with Jason Lee as Dave Seville. I love those movies. Maybe not, every part of it, but in essence, it's like, wow, I can relate to this. Before before I talk about the rest of my username, I guess. I'm sorry. Uh, Anyways, there are three chipmunks: Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. And I am the middle child of three boys. So having, three chipmunk brothers in the movies, I thought I could really relate to, and it was pretty cool. And that came to form a lot of, how I viewed my own life, in a sense. Like, you know, I'm Alvin. I used to be very quiet before, um, until really senior year of high school for me. And I still have my times where I'm pretty quiet and reserved, obviously, because well, introvert, haha, buzzword again. There you go, saying it. But I say that more in the sense of like, middle child stereotypes. I don't know how old the chipmunks are supposed to be, or the brother dynamics that they have, or anything, but you know, I have a headcanon of it. If I can use that word in the right context. But what I really mean by that is like, oh yeah, like I said before, it came to form my perspective on life and how I, perceived myself and my brothers. I always thought my older brother was like Simon, the smart one. He was the first one to start wearing glasses out of the three of us. Um, and it fit really well, because like I look up to him. He's my older brother figure. I, still look up to him today. I really admire all the things he's done, what he did in school, what he's doing now. Um, and yeah. And then when it comes to my little brother, I've always seen him, like obviously as the little brother, as Theodore. The not so naive, but more just like the he's filled with a sense of whimsy, joy and whimsy. He's kind of just going about things, enjoying himself in the movies. Still childlike in that sense. And I really did see that in my younger brother. But, we're older now, an amount older since the movies came out. And, he's still. I still look at him and still see, like the Sam younger brother I knew back then. and, you know, really love. Because, you know, like, he's done things that... Oh, no. Oh, jeez. He's done things that I haven't been, you know, haven't had the courage to do. You know, get into sports for real, because he's done basketball. You know, talk to girls, I guess, because he's actually had girlfriends before, whereas I haven't. So yeah, going back to that other idea, I guess, that's why I feel I might be a little behind, but I'm in really no rush. One, because I don't feel ready. Two, because, you know, I'm... Well, hold on, let me rephrase that. I'm not ready for two reasons. I'm not in the mindset for it, nor do I think I could financially, you know, sustain that kind of lifestyle, because I want to be the kind of person that, you know, provides different kinds of goods in a relationship. Obviously good experiences, but also, you know, like, good, how do I say this? Like, physical items, you know? I'm not the most materialistic person, but, you know, I feel that it's still an important aspect to take into account. Like, I don't do it all the time, but I would, you know, like, want to give things to people to show my appreciation for them. You know, whether... or depending on how well I've gotten to know them, you know. I think that's just, you know, like, my sort of sense of reality for relationships. Wow, I really do not know where that is going. I guess what I want to say with all that is, like, I show my appreciation in my own ways, and this is kind of strange to bring up now, I guess, but, you know, it's in that sense that this is who I am, and this is, you know, clearly a lot of what I want to put into my YouTube channel is who I am. I want to present my, you know, my personality, who I am as a person. It comes with, you know, different concepts and whatnot, and like I've said at least 2 or 3 times now, this video really does not have a structure to it. I'm just playing Minecraft, sort of, like, no branding it, just running through stuff. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I think there's going to be a cut right here, definitely. Oh, okay. This is what I want to say. My expectations for this channel are not high at all. I, you know, as far as it goes right now, I don't have the most structure, obviously. I don't have, like, videos planned out already that I want to do. This is more impulsive because I feel that, you know, I have the time as of right now to, like, make this video. So it boils down to a concept of sort of commitment. And right now, you know, instead of maybe doing my homework, which is, you know, what I should be doing right now, I'm making this video right now and recording it. Again, you've come this far into the video, I really appreciate you. Even in 2x speed. You couldn't pay me to watch a video not in 2x speed, unless it's, like, you know, the best thing I've ever seen, and I don't want to miss a detail about it. But what I mean to say... I don't know what I mean to say. I'm really sorry. But yeah, a lot of the things I would want to talk about in the future are kind of just experiences that I've had. And right now, I'm kind of just brain dumping. It's not the most cohesive, clearly. But, you know, I'm putting my ideas into words, whether they make sense or not. And it's kind of a big jumble right now, if I'm being completely honest. But regardless, I will definitely, depending on how this video does, maybe, or maybe even not. I don't know what I'm saying. regardless of how this video goes, I plan on making another video. Maybe playing Minecraft again, maybe playing with some of my friends for a change. But, you know, I'm still figuring that aspect out clearly, because, you know, I'm stumbling over words right now and I lose my train of thought very easily. Speaking of that, impulsive, this is my, you know, right, you could see it when I opened my inventory. But this is my Minecraft skin, this is the cape I'm using, I think this is from Twitch. My Roblox skin, well, yeah, my Minecraft skin is based off of my Roblox avatar. If you find me on there, or at least like you know, search my username, feel free to add me. I don't play a lot of that anymore, but I might make a video with just that in the background too. There's a lot of complications with Roblox as of late, you know, like safety issues and whatnot, but I'm not really going to talk much about that. I'm just going to glaze over that. But, you know, if you want my stance on that, stay tuned for the next video. I'm kidding. But, yeah, the more I think about it, I think this video has run its course. So, again, I really appreciate your time in watching this video. In the future, I do plan on talking faster because I will have my thoughts in order, in the sense that, like, I won't have these long pauses. I won't be saying all the time, I hope, because, you know, that's a skill that I need to learn if I'm going to be making YouTube videos. But in essence, before I end this, I want to say thank you again for watching. I really would appreciate feedback in the comments. Really about anything. If it's about something I said, something you want to see me do, advice, really anything. And I'm not saying that like, oh, engage with the video. I really do appreciate that in that sense, but like, I want to sort of like, you know, foster a community that finds my, you know, like, my presence worth something, I guess, because, you know, I want to turn this YouTube channel into something where I can properly pour my time and dedication to, you know, something creative. Especially considering that, you know, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So, yes, I really appreciate you for watching this video. Maybe you skipped to the end. Hi, if you did. But, yeah, all of this is a journey. Also, yeah, my main menu background, it's just a bunch of random pictures and memes. Joji Spoon on the left, I forgot what this is from, but like the, you know, oh, every Asian girl ever, haha, funny. The glasses, the bangs, and the buck teeth. And Ellie smirking. I forgot what the last one is. But, oh, Azumanga Daioh. I forgot which character it is, but it's like a realistic version. You'll see it if I don't finish this video on time. But yes, this video is coming out a little bit sooner than I expected, I guess. I think, wow, 2 days after I uploaded my first one. Maybe that's a schedule I'll try and follow, but it really comes down to when I dedicate time to things like this. Additionally, let me know in the comments whether you care about the gameplay more or like my dialogue more. You know what I'm talking about. There we go. Just continuing it, even though I said I was gonna, you know, end the video soon. But anyways, for real this time, for the very final thing. I'm repeating myself, but I'll be ending it. I really do appreciate your time watching this video, and I will see you in the next video, which will come out really whenever at this point. Bye-bye!